Hi everyone, it's Olivia from Girlybunches, and in this week's video I'm going to show you how I made this hexagon. It's really cute because it looks like it's got a flower in the middle, I think, and just a little bit different. It's going to be, it's just a standalone motif, so it would be one that you would sew together if you were using it as a blanket. Just cute pattern, thought I'd show you. I know how much everybody likes hexagons, so I will get on and show you how I made it. So in this video I'm going to be using my trusty 4mm hook and some double knit yarn, which is a bit much thinner actually than this chunky yarn that I use, so this hexagon will come up much smaller. So we're going to start off with this middle part, and normally I would do a magic loop, but for this one we're going to do the loop made with chains. So I'm going to chain 8 and join that with a slip stitch to make that into a loop. So we'll work the first round into that. So start off with the chain, like I said. So that's going to be 8 chains. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, now I'm going to do a slip stitch into that first chain to make the loop. There we go, there's our loop. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a double crochet into that loop. So I'm British and I use British terminology, so I call that a double, but you may know that as a single. So to start off we need to have 12 double crochets into that loop. So there's 1, and now we're going to carry on with the rest. So I should have 12 in there now, and if you're not familiar with what things should look like, and I get often confused myself, so you know it's easily done. What you want to do is you want to count the number of these stitches that you have on top, because remember we did a chain and then a double crochet, so you don't want to confuse that chain as one of the stitches, because the double crochet is the stitch we want to work into. So if you just look at the loop that you've made and count these number of sort of V stitches that you see here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and that one there is 12. So now you know that you've got the right number of stitches. So that's 12, and then we're just going to do a slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet, which is that one there, and that finishes off our first round. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and double crochet into that same stitch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to skip one of those double crochets on our loop and go into the next one, and we're just going to do a double crochet into the top of that one. Okay, so 8 chains, skip one of the loop, the double crochets into the loop, and work a double crochet into the next one along, and we're going to repeat that now 5 more times till we get back to here. So I'll just do one more. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to skip one of the double crochets and then work into the next one along and do a double crochet into that one there. Okay, so that's now working these spaces here. Okay, so I'm going to come back when I've got back round to here, doing the same thing. So I'm just doing my last one now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'm just going to do my slip stitch now into that first double crochet we did, and that finishes off that second round. So if we just take the hook out and have a look, we've now got 6 of these loops. Okay, so now what we need to do is pull that back down. Now need to start working these fan parts here. And it looks a little bit complicated, but I assure you it's very simple. Remember, I do simple. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 slip stitches into this 8 chain loop. So you're literally just putting the yarn, you're putting the hook into the loop, grabbing the yarn and pulling it through the loop you've got. So that's 1, do that again, 2, and again 3. So you're not actually connecting it to anything, but what you're doing is you're moving up. So they're kind of just chains really, but we're doing them through the loop. So we're now into the right place. If you weren't happy about doing that, what you could do is do the slip stitches into this chain, but do make sure you don't twist it, because we want that chain to be sort of free flowing, because we're not actually going to work into that chain physically, we're just going to work into the loop that it's made. So once I've done that, I'm now going to do 3 chains as normal. Now that's locked it down, see, it's locked it down now, so it's not going anywhere, and it's unnoticeable when you finish. You can't notice it on that finished one, so don't worry about it being noticeable. So once we've done that, we now need to have in total 9 trebles into that loop. So that is replacing our first treble. So now we need to do 8 more into that loop. So remember, I'm British and I use British terminology, so you may know that as a double crochet, but I call that a treble. And I'm just now putting in a total of 9 trebles into this 8 chain space. So I'm just going to go back and check. So remember, I'm using that first 3 chain as a replacement treble. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 more. So now we have 9, so that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now what we need to do is just do a slip stitch into that next 8 chain space along, and then we just repeat. So we're going to do 3 chains and then 8 trebles, giving us 9 altogether in that 8 chain space. So I'll just show you again. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 8 trebles. And 1 more. That should give us 9, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way around until I get to here, and I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I'm just now coming to the end of doing that last petal shape. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 more, 9. And sorry if you can hear sirens outside. It's obviously a busy Sunday where I am. Okay, so now we just need to do a slip stitch into that 8 chain loop on the side there, and then that locks that row down, and that's our 3rd row done. And it does look a bit wavy, and it does until you start putting the other rows in. Okay, so now what we need to do is we now need to work on this what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4th row. I think I'm right. Lost count now. So again, what we're going to do is we're just going to do 3 chains, and then we're going to work in a treble into the next 5 chains along, so that'll be 6 altogether. Nice simple little row there, but before we do that we need to get ourselves to the top of that row, that chain, the 3 chains there. So we need to do 3 slip stitches like we did on the previous round, just to get us back to the top of that row there. So I hope you can see that. And then you just do 3 chains to replace your first treble, and then we're going to do a treble into the top of the next 5 trebles along. So that's 1, 2, 3. When I say 3, that's 3 altogether. 4, 5, 6. So we want 6 trebles altogether. So we've got the 6 there. So not working into those last 3 there. And then we're going to chain 6 this time. So that's 1, 2, oops. Start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we're going to work treble into the top of this 3 chains here. So yarn over to get, so it's a little bit weird because you've got this chain here. So just hold that chain nice and firm with your other fingers and put the yarn over like you would normally do and just work that treble into the top of those 3 chains, and then you can just continue with doing the trebles that you need. Okay, so now you're going to repeat that again, so that's 6 chains, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold these chains with your other hand, with the rest of the fingers, not your other hand, that implies you've got 3 hands, which you haven't, well maybe you have, I don't know. And then that would be very handy if you did, which sometimes wish I did. Yeah, so yarn over and do your treble into the top of those 3 chains there, and then do your other 5 trebles, and you keep going all the way around until you get back to here when you're just going to do your slip stitch into the top of that treble, but I'll show you when I get there. Okay, so I've gone all the way around there now, and all I need to do now is just finish off this by doing 6 chains, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of that first of the 3 chains there, and then that finishes off our round. So now I need to get the last round in, which will give us the hexagon shape, because that will give us our corners. You can still see it now, but as you can see on this one, it's got more defined sides and corners, so that's pretty easy to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to chain 3. We're going to do a treble into the top of each of these trebles that we have along here from our previous round. So I'm just working into the top of those. Oops. Like so. And then you're going to do 3 additional trebles into that 6 chain space. Then you're going to do 3 chains, and you're going to do 3 more trebles into that same space. And that's made your corner there. So that'll be the side, and there'll be a corner here. Hope you can see that. So again, just get some more yarn. We're going to work a treble into the top of each of those trebles from the previous round. Like that. And then we're going to do 3 trebles into that 6 chain space. Then we're going to do 3 chains, and then again 3 trebles into that same chain space. And then I'm going to repeat what I've done here all the way around by doing trebles into the top of each one of the trebles from the previous round, and then 3 trebles, 3 chains and 3 trebles into each of these corner spaces, and I'm going to come back when I get well, finished it basically. So there we go, just doing my last treble, and I'm just going to now slip stitch that into the top of that 3rd chain there, and I have finished. So I'm just going to cut my yarn. and fasten that off by just putting that loop through, end through, and there we go. There is the hexagon. So obviously this one would need to be blocked, I think. So you just pin that out like that, and after a little while it will keep its shape. But once you start sewing it to other hexagons, you're going to find that it will definitely, you know, pull its shape out properly. So yeah, that's I think a really quick, simple hexagon to make. If I bring this one in, because I've got my ends flapping around on this one. Yeah, I just love this sort of petal pattern in the middle, and you could make up a few of those and then sew them all together, or you could crochet the edges together. If you wanted to join them like a motif, you might want to leave a couple of these trebles out in the middle and just replace them with chains, and then that gives you something to look down once you when you're joining them as you go. So I've done a video about joining motifs. I've done a couple of videos, so I'll put the links down below. Yeah, so that should help you with that. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this. I'd love a thumbs up if you did. I think it's really cute. So yeah, love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions, please put them down below and I will try and get to them. Obviously I answer questions every day because I do work full time, but I do get around to doing a binge session of answering loads of questions every now and again. So yes, and I do like to talk to you guys. You know, it's nice to know there's someone out there. And yeah, so that's just it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Take care until then. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.